The Echoing Shadows. In the small, forgotten town of Ravensbrook, there was a house that everyone whispered about, but never dared to visit. The old Finch mansion stood at the edge of the woods, its once grand facade now crumbling and covered in creeping vines. The locals spoke of eerie sounds and ghostly apparitions, but no one could confirm the tales. No one who had returned, that is. One cold, misty evening, curiosity got the better of a group of teenagers. Sarah, the ringleader, convinced her friends to explore the mansion. "It's just a house," she said with a nervous laugh. "What's the worst that could happen?" They arrived at the mansion just as the sun dipped below the horizon. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves. As they stepped onto the creaky porch, the door swung open with an ominous creak, as if inviting them in. Inside, the mansion was dark and musty. Dust motes danced in the beams of their flashlights. The furniture was covered in white sheets, and the walls were adorned with faded portraits whose eyes seemed to follow their every move. Sarah led the way, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. As they ventured deeper into the mansion, strange things began to happen. Whispers echoed through the halls, though no one could discern their source. Shadows flitted just out of sight, and the air grew colder with each step. The group huddled closer together, their bravado waning. In the library, they found an old journal, its pages yellowed and brittle. Sarah read aloud, her voice trembling. The journal belonged to Elizabeth Finch, the last known resident of the mansion. It told a chilling tale of madness and despair. Elizabeth had become obsessed with dark rituals, believing she could bring her deceased husband back from the dead. Her attempts had failed, but she had unleashed something evil in the process. As Sarah finished reading, a sudden icy wind blew through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic set in, and the teenagers scrambled to find their way out. But the mansion seemed to come alive, shifting and twisting to trap them. The whispers grew louder, now sounding like a cacophony of tormented souls. One by one, the friends were separated. Sarah found herself alone in a pitch-black corridor, the air thick with dread. She heard footsteps behind her, growing closer. She turned, but there was no one there. The shadows seemed to pulse and writhe, reaching out for her. Desperate, Sarah ran, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She stumbled into a room and slammed the door behind her. The room was empty, save for a large mirror on the wall. Her reflection stared back at her, but something was wrong. The reflection's eyes were filled with malice, and its lips curled into a sinister smile. Suddenly, the reflection stepped out of the mirror, its movements jerky and unnatural. Sarah backed away, her heart pounding in her chest. The doppelganger advanced, its grin widening. "You shouldn't have come here," it whispered, its voice a distorted echo of her own. Sarah screamed, but no sound escaped her lips. The room spun, and she felt herself being pulled into the mirror. Her vision blurred, and the last thing she saw was her reflection, now free and laughing maniacally. The next morning, the townspeople found the mansion eerily quiet. The teenagers were never seen again, but sometimes on cold, misty evenings, the townsfolk swear they can hear their cries for help echoing through the woods. The Finch mansion stands as a grim reminder of the horrors that lurk in the shadows, waiting for the next curious soul to wander too close.